There is no freedom without accountability. Now, let me say that in a way that this generation will really understand and hear. If you don't take responsibility for your damn life, you will not get the life that you want, and you will forever be a victim to circumstance. Things will always be happening to you and not for you. That's just how that goes. If you're not willing to be responsible for your thoughts, your emotions, your actions, your behaviors, and your outcomes, you will forever feel that you are at a loss. You will feel powerless and you will move through all of your life just like that. Now, I'm about to give you some game right now that is going to cost you free 99. I said that correctly, free 99. So take this home and run with it, okay? The moment you start to blame the external world for your internal problems, you give that control or that power that you would otherwise have to change the circumstances of your life. You give that away to the very entity, the very person, the institution, the thing, the person, the place, the circumstance, and the situation. You give your power away to that. Every single time you blame. I'm not saying some of the time, right? We like to sugarcoat this a lot because we're afraid of victim blaming and victim shaming. I am not here to victim blame, victim shame, or do anything else besides tell you a truth that will set you free if you are willing to digest it and allow it to absorb its nutrients into your digestive tracts. If you are willing to absorb this, you will be set free. The moment you begin to point blame, even in a situation where you believe that you are completely justified, right? You give that person power. So if somebody asks you, why are you so miserable? Because my mama did this to me. Because my ex did that to me. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. You were in a situation or a circumstance in which you felt victimized, right? You experienced victimization. And so from that point on out, you chose to be a victim. And I say there's a distinction between victimization and victimhood. Victimization is a situation. Victimhood is a residency, right? It's a hood, victimhood. It's in the name. I used to call it Victimville, but now it's victimhood. You are literally choosing to reside in that space or in that state of victimhood. And so long as you have a residency in that neighborhood, you will be powerless. You will stay in a state where you feel as if everybody else has the upper hand on you. And you will forever be trying to elevate yourself using the things that had happened to you, the stories that you hold on to, the identity that you have held on to thus far within your own experience. Again, I understand that there are people who have been through trauma and tragedy, trials and tribulations, all bundled up in one. I completely understand that and I empathize with that. I have been in times of my life where back to back to back to back, it just seemed like everything was happening. Some Marshall's Law type of stuff, right? Anything that could happen did happen. Yet, if I decided to remain in that space of woe is me, look what happened to me, look what they did to me, I would not be here right now. I would not be speaking to you right now. I would not be in a space where I am actually building out the life that I desire right now. Instead, I'll be hiding behind a rock somewhere, pointing at the world and everybody who did me wrong, and I'll be brewing and festering in that bitterness and that hatred towards the world. And it's really hatred towards myself. As they used to say, you point one finger forward or one finger at somebody, three are pointing back at you. You are pointing one and you feel like you're doing yourself a justice by keeping the blame there, keeping the resentment there, keeping the judgment there, right? But them three fingers are pointing right back at you. That very same energy that you're putting out is coming right back at you. You're the one who has to live with that situation in your head over and over again. When you do not allow yourself to let go, to accept, to forgive, and to completely let go of that situation, you are actually opting into your own powerlessness. You will forever be a victim to that situation or that circumstance because that's how you perceive yourself. That's how you're seeing yourself. And I know, again, the society has had you thinking man, there is glamour and glory in being a victim. The bigger victim I can be, the higher my pedestal, right? The more gold medals I can get in the Victim Olympics, the more I will be admired by the masses. People will come in droves to worship at my feet. So long as I am the biggest victim in the world, so long as I am the greatest victim of them all, I will be praised until kingdom come. When people see what I've been through, when people hear about my story, when they hear about my exes, I know about your exes. Oh, but my exes, if you only heard about my exes, oh my, you will put me on that damn pedestal immediately. That's what victimhood looks like from the outside. But once you step into it and once you live as it, you start to realize that, wait a minute, everything that glitter ain't gold. It's like if I went out and I start protesting and saying, because I'm black, you owe me some money, right? I'm black, you owe me some money. I'm black, you owe me some money. If that was a mantra I created for myself and people started giving me money because I was black, right? Based off of that, that money would not hit the same. Well, I mean, maybe for some people, maybe you can last long enough to be like, ooh, I will really enjoy this money, right? Leave that in the comments. If you're somebody who's like, I don't give a damn, I'll take the money and enjoy it, right? Guilt-free. But as far as for somebody like myself, I literally couldn't sit with myself long enough to actually enjoy this because I know that I got this in a sleazy way, like Tupac said. Oh, you got paid today, but you got it in a sleazy way. You might as well sell drugs to the kids. I got to get paid. Well, that's the way it is. Hopefully there's no copyright infringement on that one right there. Shout out to Tupac. But all seriousness, when you find yourself in this place where you are looking for the world to give you things from the premise of being a victim, those things will never satisfy. And the main things we look for is attention, affection, admiration, right? More specifically, positive attention. So when we can't find a way to get people to see us as worthy of that attention because we're already seeking that attention externally as opposed to internally, when we're in that state, we start to do things that are more extreme. So some people, will simp and cower and crawl and seek out sympathy. Some people will find ways to get themselves sick in order for people to feel bad for them. You don't believe me? Go ask somebody who may have had a chronic ailment for a prolonged period of time who is honest with themselves. Right? We use all sorts of mechanisms in order to stay in a state where people are perceiving us as a victim so we can get that positive attention and affirmation that we may have lacked when we were children, right? We may have lacked in adolescence or, in our infancy, in our toddler years. We start to demonstrate these behaviors and latch onto this mentality and this ideology of I am a victim in order for us to basically get these perceived needs met. And when we are in that state, we suffer because we are always feeling the lack. It's like if you're thirsty for water, because that's what the body is thirsty for, it is not thirsty for Kool-Aid. It's not thirsty for Coke. I know that's a big surprise. It's not even thirsty for a diet soda, surprisingly, right? I know it's crazy. Not even a diet soda. Your body, when it's thirsty, is thirsty for water. And so when your body is thirsty, it says, I want water, because there are certain nutritional elements of water, right? Or there's certain minerals within water, at least. I don't know what the nutritional aspect, but I know there's minerals in water that your body needs in order to function. So when it says, I need water, I drink the water, and now I am satiated. I am satisfied. But if I go and drink something that is not water, let's say I go and drink gasoline, my body's going to have a visceral reaction, right? It's going to try yak that stuff out, get it out of my system. If I drink some Kool-Aid, it's going to say, oh, this is sweet. Oh, this kind of tastes good, but I'm going to have to drink like a gallon. That's why if you haven't noticed, them big old juices, right? Like I stopped drinking them sugary drinks a whole long time ago. I don't even engage with sugar. I know that sounds crazy, but that's just me, right? I'm on that type of stuff. I'm on that time, as the kids say. But we used to have these big old juice cartons, right? Big old juice cartons. And I would kill, like a Tropicana or something like that. I would kill that whole thing in a single day. I would start in the morning and end in the evening like a shift, right? Like I was at work. I would clock in and clock out. Boom, I hit the juice. Goo, 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 goo. I come back for the juice. Goo, 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 goo. Come back for the juice. Goo, 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 goo. Until no more juice. And guess what? I was still thirsty. My body was still like, okay, we done got all the sugar we could get. We done got all the drugs we can get in our system. Can we get some water, please? because there were barely some water in that day, whatever the hell you just gave us, right? It's the very same way when you get external validation, the exact same thing. You go out seeking for people to validate you, and you get some, and you get some, and you get some admiration, affection, attention, and then you come back to yourself, and your spirit's still like, ooh, well, not your spirit. It's technically your soul, right? Your spirit is whole and knows and recognizes whole, but your soul is like, ooh, yeah, I still need something. So let's go get some more or do something about this, right? It's really yearning for that internal recognition of I am enough and I am worthy and I'm adequate. But when you don't give it that, it's going to continue to go out and to look for that inner Kool-Aid per se, right? It's really looking for water, but you didn't give it Kool-Aid, so that's what it's going to go looking for. And that's the exact same dynamic, again, when it comes to that external seeking of validation. Point blank, period. So in order for us to really start to heal from this place, one second. In order for us to really start to heal from this place, we have to take accountability and responsibility for our life, the ability to respond, and accountability, the ability to it's literally an accounting, right? It's an auditing of our life, checking in with ourselves and saying, this is on me, that's on me, this is on me, that's on me, this is on me, right? In every area of our lives. So maybe take one and start with that. Financial. It's the government's fault that I am where I am financially. It's my parents' fault. It's my job's fault. And then say, wait, so is it the government's responsibility to put money in your pocket? Well, yes, it is. Okay, if you're in that mindset, then this ain't for you. You got some work to do. So you might want to go wherever that is, right? Go to that chat where they're complaining about them things. But if you're at a place where you can accept this, right? Okay, yeah, it's really not the government's. Okay, is it your parents? Well, maybe when you were a kid or something like that, but not anymore. So they could do it if they wanted to, but they don't have to. Okay. So is it my jobs? Well, yes, it's my jobs, but is it really? Well, they don't owe me. We're in contract. So whatever it is that I'm in contract for, yes, right? But then when we start to really get to it, the only person that is actually responsible for your financial situation, for your income or whatever it may be, is you. That's taking accountability of that, like, or responsibility for that. And if you don't make enough money, then you don't blame, you take accountability for that. I did that. I did that to me. I chose to be in a certain field. I chose to be in a certain space. I chose not to have the beliefs that coincide with abundance as opposed to, believing these poverty or lack mentality thoughts. That's a self thing. Nobody else is doing that to you or for you. Even if they're programming you, you're now choosing as a conscious being to reprogram or to deeply internalize those poverty consciousness programs that are available for you at scale. So once you get to that place, you can really start to use the same thing in every area of your life. And you're going to get to a point where you're like, damn, like everything is my responsibility. And I was actually writing this today, which is a part of the new book that I'm writing currently. And it was basically speaking on how, when Harriet Tubman freed them slaves, she said, I freed 1,000 slaves. I could have freed 1,000 more, right? I think I said it in the beginning of the video. I think it was this video. I'd be channeling. I'd be gone sometimes, right? So you have Harriet Tubman, who said, I could have freed 1,000 slaves if they knew they were slaves. So for me, how I start to look at it is, well, those slaves sometimes feel better off in those comforts. Those slaves sometimes feel better off if they're in this space of being provided for, right? If you look at this biblical tale of Moses and, the Israelites, and they're freed from slavery, from 400 years of bondage in Egypt, and now they're in the desert, and now they're complaining because it's hot, it's this and that, and they say, man, we could have just gone to Egypt. At least there they fed us onions and leavened bread or whatever the hell type of diet they're on, right? They said at least back in Egypt, damn it, they were feeding us onions. Now all we eating is this manna every single day that's falling from heaven. And that same mentality is, man, now we have to be responsible for ourselves. Imagine that. And that could be a scary prospect for a lot of us. I think Dr. Jordan Peterson is the one who started articulating this early on, which is like the Peter Pan syndrome, right? You want to stay as this youthful character for the rest of your life, and you're afraid of becoming this Captain Hook character, right? The one who's always forever chasing you, because that one has to grow into maturity. And so when you are this Peter Pan, you have no responsibilities. And when you have no responsibilities, everything is taken care of for you. So you feel free. but it's an illusion. You are not truly free. You're actually bound by the fact that you cannot do for yourself. And so you are actually at the whims of everything around you. Whereas true freedom has a cost associated to it. And most of us, we don't actually count the cost of freedom. If you say to yourself, let's say you were a slave who was literally on a plantation, you would have to say to yourself, I want freedom. I desire freedom, but freedom is going to mean I'm going to have to run north. I'm going to have to sneak through bushes. I'm going to fall. I'm going to scrape my knee. I'm going to do this. I'm going to be chased by dogs probably. I'm going to have, like, these things are probable in my experience. Maybe they don't happen, but maybe they do. But I know I'm going to have to run with everything in me north. And I have to go north in order for me to be free, right? That's just a stipulation that you got to go through. And so that's really counting that cost to say, is it actually worth it? And some people, in truth, if they were to sit with themselves and really take an audit of whether or not they actually want to be free, they would tell you that they're okay where they are. That freedom is too high a price to pay. That taking care of themselves, both financially as well as, emotionally, as well as mentally, as well as spiritually, is too much. Most people don't want to think for them. Well, I can't say most. I don't know most people, but there are many people who would rather not think for themselves. So there's a television that will think for you, right? There's devices that will literally feed you information randomly and without intention for you. There are same pieces of content will feel for you, right? Music that will give you the emotion. People that will come into your experience and feed you certain emotion as opposed to you actually dictating what emotional set point you're going to live from. There are people who will act for you, right? You ain't got to walk and, interact and engage with the outside world. God forbid that. You ain't got to get you some sun. In order for you to go get your food, you can now just hit up whatever. Postmates, I don't even know if that's still a thing. Maybe it's still a thing. Instacart. I guess Safeway's got some, if you even know what a Safeway is. We got that out here in the Bay Area. So you have all these different means and mechanisms that you can use in order for you not to have to take an action. But the things that nobody can do for you are the things that matter most. Like, nobody can work out for you. Nobody can eat for you. Just like nobody can think for you. Nobody can feel for you. They can give you these. They can give you directions and directives. But it is always going to be in your hands. And so long as you are opting out, you are basically choosing for them to be in control of those facets of who you are. Right? We say to ourselves, well, they're spraying our food with all kinds of pesticides and GMOs and this, that, and the third. Well, you could grow your own food, but you would rather have convenience than growing your own food. Well, I don't have the time. Yes. And that's a choice we make. That's called responsibility. And not everybody is ready for it. That's why not everybody is ready for freedom. Everyone who claims they desire freedom is not truly ready for freedom. In the very same way, everyone who claims they want to be a father or a mother is not ready to be one. Lots of people want to have babies. Lots of people can have a baby. But lots of those individuals do not have the skill sets yet to be an effective parent. Lots of people want to be married. Every damn body wants to have a wedding. Well, most people want to have a wedding. But not everybody has the skill sets developed yet. Not everybody has counted the cost yet of being a husband or a wife. And so we have to carry that very same mentality of everybody wants freedom, but do you know what the true cost of that freedom is? It's like financial freedom, right? It might mean in the beginning, you have sleepless nights. It might mean that. I'm not this mentality of you got to grind in order to make things happen. But you might have to have that. Maybe that's a cost that is associated for you and your current belief system. Maybe you have to build something you're not comfortable building yet. Maybe you have to overcome those feelings of inadequacy, right? Maybe you have to do that inner work, or you have to actually do the inner work of getting rid of those poverty mentalities, getting all those scarcity ideologies out of your psyche. You have to do that work in order to become financially free. It's the exact same thing when it comes to your internal sense of freedom, your peace, your power, your joy. The life, the fulfillment, the vibrance, those things come with a price, and that price is everything that you're currently holding on to. And it is only you who can make the decision to separate yourself from such. So that being said, this was a little bit of a longer video. I'm probably going to start doing longer form video like this, to be honest. It was already long form, like it's like 10, 15 minutes each, but I might go 30 if I want. But that being said, I wanted to plug my very first published book titled Doing Me Guilt-Free. Boom, that is Doing Me Guilt-Free. Now, this is a big old copy, right? Like, I'm not a big dude, but this is a big copy. It makes me look tiny in comparison, of course. But the actual version is about that big right there. So it's like any normal book that you would carry in your bag, carry in your purse, carry under your arm, right? Back in the day when there's such things as libraries, you will find them size books. But this one is just my manuscript version of it. But make sure you get your hands on one of these immediately if you are somebody looking to truly step into your personal power, right? Doing Me Guilt-Free. Boom, bop, bada, bop, bam, pow. For everybody else, stay tuned. Invest into yourself. Stay away from the mess. Love yourself and others. Peace.